Hello everybody, welcome back to Rose and Jones. So today I'm going to be fulfilling my promise to take part in the big Squirt tag. And as filthy as that may sound, we're going to keep it clean, nothing but clean and class on this channel. Now a tag called the Big Squirt could only be conjured up by one person, and that is our beloved Claire from Smurfy Girl. Now it's not all her fault. She did a lovely live on pear fragrances. She's got a love for pear at the moment, and she did a really fantastic fun live all about her pear fragrances, and she went through, I think it was about 10 of them, and right at the end, being the trooper that she is, she completely covered herself in every single pear fragrance. She was soaked. So watching Claire douse herself in this lovely pear perfume juice was highly amusing and highly entertaining. But little did we know it would backfire on all of us when she decided to make it into a tag. Bewitched by her deep queen bee stare that she gave us straight through the camera, obligated us all to join in. It was pretty evident at that point that there was nowhere to run, and if we didn't partake, she would hunt us down. The naming of the tag was deeply deliberated by the most intelligent and sensible of us all. The most profound suggestion, of course, being the Big Squirt. So this tag is very simple. We just pick our most favourite category. It can be a note, it can be a season or an occasion, your favourite house maybe, or even just the colour of the bottle. Then talk about your love for each one. And of course, by the end of the video, there's nothing left to do but drench yourself in every single one until you're smelling better than the gods. So of course, I've picked a category. You may be thinking, it's a rose. It is not, in fact, rose. It is fairy tales. Fairy tales of fantasy is pretty much my favourite genre in most categories of anything, whether it's books and films, designs, anything like that. I've tried to gather as many of my fragrances as I possibly can that kind of give me the feeling of fantasy, whether it's the bottle design, whether it's the scent, just something playful, whimsical, and takes you in that world of make-believe. Let's just go ahead and jump into this land of fairy tale fragrances. I'm going to start with a fragrance that makes me think of rainbows and blue sky and sun and clouds. It's actually linked to Claire in a big way, because it's the reason I got this is because she enabled me to get hold of it through a swap. This is by 4160 Tuesdays. It's Clouds Illusion. I just love this fragrance so much. It's a fluffy big white cloud with a big beautiful yellow sun behind it and blue skies, and the reason I say that is because there is a lovely lemon. I think it's lemon. I think it comes as citrus, but I think of it as lemon. It's a fluffy lemon. It's soft and powdery, and the lemon makes me think of yellow, and the fluffy powderiness makes me think of clouds. One big lemon fluffy cloud. It's playful, it's whimsical, and it does make me think of rainbows in the sky. If you could imagine the most perfect sky when you were little, and you wanted the most perfect sky, and it would be that bright blue with the sun sort of just not quite too bright, but just behind the clouds, and you've got massive big white fluffy clouds, and you've got this perfect rainbow in the sky. That's this fragrance for me. And we're going to come back from the sky onto the ground in the most beautiful garden you've ever known, and it has been raining and there is water and dew dripping off of leaves and beautiful trees. You've got a fragrance which just takes me there, at least. And my unicorn of a fragrance, this is Confessions of a Garden Gnome. We've got Lily of the Valley, we've got Lily, we've got ambergris, yuzu, which is like I think it's a mango fruit, so you've got some sweetness. But this is, to me, this garden, it's a very green garden. You've got long grasses, and you've got Lily of the Valley, which is such a magical little flower. It's just popping its head up over the grass. You've got lilies. There's an undercurrent of this ambergris giving you this salty, mysterious, magical base. The sort of sweetened, wet earth feeling from the fruits and from whatever else is going on, and it's almost making you think of very soft, sweet tobacco. They say that fairies live at the bottom of the garden. I think this scent will take you there. My beloved Confessions of a Garden Gnome by Fort and Manley. Next, I've chosen something ethereal and pretty and rosy, and it is my very beautiful Rose Gypsy. The magical garden that Confessions takes me to. If there were roses in that garden, there'd be Rose Gypsy. This has the same feeling as Confessions. It's this watery, dewy, ethereal, fairy-like feeling. It's just an innocent rose. It's an innocent green, fresh rose with the stem and the leaves and the dewdrops. There's no clouding from any musks. There's no heaviness from woods or amber. No sort of naughtiness from sugars and chocolate and things like caramel. The simple, angelic, dewy, ethereal, innocent, beautiful rose fragrance, and that is why I'm including it in this video, because it is fairy-like. Next is the truest of my fantasy fragrances. In fact, it's the one that really inspired the theme. Of course, I had to include Lolita Lempicka, and of course, my most beloved lemon is the Eau de Toilette. This one. Talking about the sky, I've talked about the flowers and the garden. This scent is the fairies. Allow me to set the scene. You're at the mid of spring, the height of spring, the most magical moment in the whole year. It's been raining, it's been sunny, it's been cloudy, you've got all weathers. It's just the most magical feeling in the atmosphere. The time of the fairies. You've gone into the woods, you've crept into their most secret spot, and they're all awake, and they are flying around the trees, the carpets of ivy and bluebells. You reach a clearing and it's lit up. It's their time of like celebration and fun, and there's this beautiful lilac glow in the woods, and they're just everywhere. Imagine violets were really were really fairies, okay, and the little skirts were violets, and there's just this violet glow about them. They've got their mischievous side that smells like licorice, and you've got all these scents flowing around these woods with the ivy and the pepperiness from the ivy, and you've got the touch of the woods in there. But that's what this gives me. This is why I love this fragrance so much. I need a giant bottle of this, please. Lolita Lempicka, a lifetime supply. Very worthy fantasy fragrance in this category. Lolita Lempicka Eau de Toilette. Okay, so next up, let's stay with our little fairies for a moment. They've had a great time, they've had a great day, they've been flying around the woods, you know. I say they've been mischievous, they've overdone the licorice. They're all a little bit tipsy, a little bit drunk. Here we go. This is the EDP, Lolita Lempicka EDP. We have a much heavier scent of licorice and ivy and iris, and of course violet. And it's stronger, it's denser, it's thicker, it's a thicker scent. But it's just as magical and whimsical and fantasy-like. Now obviously the scent doesn't take you there, the bottle certainly will, because they are probably the most exquisitely whimsical bottles that I've certainly got in my collection anyway. Lovely one for the autumn, lovely one for the winter. My preference is to wear it when it's slightly cooler. Next up, and we're still in our fairy story, we're still there, don't go anywhere. Maleficent has not been invited to this party, okay? Well, here she comes, and she is going to enjoy herself nonetheless. This is a much more darker, richer version even of the Eau de Parfum. This is Eau de Minuit Midnight Fragrance. I actually enjoy this one more than the Eau de Parfum. I find it smoother, richer, not as bracing. This one has a slightly bracing scent with that licorice. It's slightly sharper, but this one's so smooth. They are quite similar. They are very similar actually. But I find this one to be even slightly sandalwoody. I can't remember the notes in this one. But imagine that instead of it being licorice, it was treacle. So it's thicker and smoother. You've still got the ivy and the violet in here. You've still got the woodsy element. It's just deeper, much more suitable for nighttime. I enjoy wearing this when I go to bed at night, in the cooler months. A stunning presentation here. It's very Maleficent, as you can see. That is Lolita Lempicka Eau de Minuit. I've talked about our little witchy fragrance over here. Let's bring in some wizarding, shall we? We need a wizard fragrance. Jumping into the wizarding world, we've got candles, we've got books, books. We have got Whispers in the Library. It really is such a charming fragrance. It's woody, it's peppery, you've got vanilla. My wizard would smell like Whispers in the Library. He'd be charming, he'd be eccentric, he'd be a sweet character. You'd have a whole library, of course, of the most insane and marvellous books everywhere. I love the woodsy element in here. I get this very rich, smooth wood. I think there's ebony. I remember reading that somewhere. It does give you a description of paper and waxed wood, and I just picture this beautiful wizarding room of candles dripping, and you've got that lovely waxy element and books everywhere, pages flying all over the place, and there's just so much charm in this fragrance. It's incredibly beautiful, and this is what my wizard would smell like, at least. So that is Whispers in the Library by Maison Margiela Replica, the Shakespearean play Midsummer Night's Dream. Here we have a fragrance named after that very thing, and it's by Roger Dove, and it is A Midsummer Dream. That's the inspiration behind this fragrance. Midsummer Night's Dream, of course, is a celebration of all fairies gathering and coming together. Both the king and the queen, the Titania and Oberon, come together, and they have celebrations, among other things, in a magical environment where just anything magical can pretty much happen. Mostly mischievous and playful. They play tricks on the mortals, and get up to no good, basically. So this scent, what is it like? Well, Oberon, of course, is the king of the fairies. So I'm going to base this around him. Not that it's a masculine scent, it's very much a unisex scent. This fragrance is thick with lemony resins and ginger and orris root. It's very dense, but it's not heavy at all. It's so bright and uplifting, incredibly effervescent and a little bit bewitching. You get a really sharp brightness from that ginger, and I find it incredibly classy and really elegant, and I love the brightness of it. It's such a bright burst in the face, this fragrance, that you can almost imagine this spell that's been cast and you're just suddenly in the moment with the fairies and all the mischievous things that are going on. And I could be reaching a bit here because I'm including this in a fantasy fragrance video. You've got a massive imagination, you might as well set it free, I guess. That's A Midsummer Night Dream. That is the scent of Oberon, king of the fairies. Next up we have Meliora from Parfum de Marly, my most favourite fragrance from the line. I love wearing this. When I wear this, I feel fairy-like. It's so enchanting, a free spirit. I could be in this white floaty dress that's kind of very country-like, picking blackberries from bushes, just eating wild fruits, drinking from a stream, stopping at Mr. and Mrs. Badger's for tea. Making a daisy chain and putting flowers in your hair. You see where I'm going with this one. This is what this fragrance is for me. It's carefree. It is fantastic for any occasion. I would wear this to work. I would wear this to a wedding. It's blackcurrant and cassis, and there's vanilla, and there's some beautiful notes which I've gone blank on. Creamy and luxurious bramble berry style fragrance. So we're going to end on a happy ever after. I've given you free folk. I've given you fairies. I've given you magical worlds of fantasy. This is more fairy tale. This can be human, but it's a fairy tale ending, and it is Delina Parfum de Marly. I have expressed a lot of love for this fragrance because it's absolutely beautiful. It's a fairy tale ending. It's big pink peonies, big pink roses, juicy fragrant lychee, delicious rhubarb. It's pink, pink, pink. I think it's the ultimate wedding fragrance for my preferences anyway. It's sweet, it's romantic. Although it's not technically a gourmand, it's deliciously edible, it's juicy, it's also powdery. It's soft and powdery as well from the rose. I think it's lovely for girly girls. I'm not even a girly girl, if I'm honest. I like quite edgy things, but for some reason this fragrance just speaks to my inner romantic fairy tale side, I think. We're just talking one big happy ever after in the form of Delina by Parfum de Marly. So that is my final fragrance for this video selection. I'm going to do an honourable mention here. It's not a fragrance, but it is a scented product. And the packaging alone will allow me to include this in the video. So this is a face spray, setting spray by Too Faced. And it is by the Festival selection. I think it's discontinued now. And what a shame, because this is a beautiful product. It's the Mystical Effects Setting and Refreshing Spray. Not only is the packaging... the actual scent is so beautiful. And let's just give this, you have to shake this up. It's got little balls in the bottom and it's got little sparkles in it. And the scent is effervescent orange and pineapple and grapefruit. Very fruity, but it's like a sherbet quality to it as well, pink quality. Spray your face with this and get that scent in the face, and you also get a iridescent sort of setting glow with little twinkles in here, which doesn't look weird at all. It looks really beautiful. So I couldn't not include this one in this video because it's so dreamy and beautiful. Anyway, the moment I've been dreading or looking forward to, depending on how you look at it. Now I can only show you my arm because that's all I have available to show you. Really good. My arm is glowing. It's glowing. I wonder if one cancels out the other because I think I can't smell anything anymore. Fragrances that are refusing to be beaten and are still rising amongst the others is the Roger Dove A Midsummer Night Dream, then Picker Menu, and Delina. I can still smell these three just about amongst all the others. Maybe a hint of bit of cloud as well. Getting a little bit of that powdery orris. Anyway, we are definitely done now. That is the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Be looking forward to seeing your videos and excited to see what you'll come up with and to see how brave you all are. Definitely all from me. Take care, and I shall definitely see you all on my next one. Over and out.